Hey y'all, hey, it's Sharita again with Blank Space Designs, where we get into the behind the scenes and shenanigans of being a 9 to 5 corporate girly while also attempting to grow a small stationery and gift shop boutique. Welcome or welcome back. Feel free to subscribe or turn on the notifications and all those other call to action things that all the girlies do. Apparently, I never say those things to you, and I'm supposed to say those things to you. Thanks for hanging out as always. So today is going to be Let's Try It Thursday. Will this be a series? Probably not, because consistency is not exactly what I'm known for when it comes to any of this content creation. But I thought it was cute. So that's what we're going to call this particular video. Let's Try It Thursday. I am still well in the midst of attempting to pull together a little summer collection. And because of who I am just as a person, of course, that there are many items that I want to add into this little collection. Many of them I haven't even tried yet. A lot of these blanks have been sitting on my studio floor for probably a couple of months now. So it's a nice, bright, sunny day outside. The lighting is beautiful. So why not throw this camera up, talk to y'all a little bit, and y'all follow along while we go through some of the trial and error of attempting to knock out a few new products for Blank Space. Anywho, let's talk about what we're trying today, shall we? Number one thing that we're definitely going to be trying is turning on my new heat press for the first time ever. For those of you who may have been here for a while, have I owned this heat press since Black Friday of 2024? I have. I have. Y'all know I have. Why would you ask me such a silly question? Did I just open this heat press maybe in March 2025? I did. Again, you already knew the answer to that. I don't know why you keep asking me that. Are we just now turning it on for the first time in June 2025? Yes. Yes, we are. In my defense, the first half of this year really brought your girl down, just in lots of ways. Personal, health wise, professional, all those things. There's a video where I kind of sort of allude to some of that a little bit. It's probably up here in the atmosphere somewhere. So the first half of 2025 wasn't the best, which is why that heat press stayed on the floor for such a long period of time. But now that we have put the cold weather behind us and we are very much so hurtling towards summer, I really want to make sure that at least I put out a couple of new things for this summer launch that has been delayed since, I don't know, the spring. So we are going to get into it today. We're turning that heat press on. I'm looking at you, heat press. You're getting turned on today. And we're going to try out some of these new items. One of the first new items that I want to start creating and providing in the product catalog are, y'all know what these are. Get out of here. They are car coasters. They are car coaster blanks 2.75 inch that I am able to sublimate. For those of you who may not know, I do have a converted sublimation printer. So I am able to do all of that on site right here in my studio. So we're going to attempt to do some sublimation on these car coasters. Not only that, I also decided to just fully lean into the coaster products. I have some 4x4 coasters and I have some square coasters and I have some 4x4 circle coasters. Both of these are wrapped in a way that I feel as though if someone burst into my studio right now, the DEA would arrest me. Full stop. So what we're going to do is open these two packages before the FBI agent that watches me through my laptop camera think something completely different. And we are going to get into designing a few things to supplement on these coasters so they can be available for the cute little mini launch that I have planned for July. That is just, I just threw that out there. I haven't planned a date for this at all. But what I'm pushing for is July for the handful of things that I want to introduce to the catalog. So let's get going. First things first, we are just going to do a couple of draft prints just to make sure the sizing is working for what I'm attempting to do here. And then we're going to get to printing and pressing. Let's go. So let's start with the 4x4 circle ones. And the only reason we're starting with this is because I already have the template made for the circle ones. I pretty much just duplicated the pin back button template that I already have. For those of you who may not know, a lot of these things I do use Photoshop for. For me particularly, it's just a lot easier to just drag everything into Photoshop and just use all the features in that program in order to make sure everything looks and lines up the way that I want to. But you absolutely positively could do this in almost any other program. Canva is actually pretty easy to do this in as well, especially for these simple shapes like squares and circles. You just need to know the size of each, of course. This might be a little bit harder, but even this, because of this little divot, it's probably not that difficult to make a template yourself. But if you don't want to do that, I found Canva templates for this particular 2.75 car coaster. I think I found this template for these for $1 on Etsy. So you can't beat $1 for a whole template for the car coasters. But we're going to start with the circle ones since I already have those. And I've actually already printed a little draft print to check the sizing. So let's get going. So not sure what you guys were expecting, but it's a 4x4 circle. I am using the rubber back. I'm sure that's not what this is called. Poly something other. I don't know. I did do a little bit of research about what is better, whether it's the rubber back ones or the actual cork ones, and was surprised to find that the rubber back ones are actually grippier and they're more absorbent or something, or they're actually a little bit more durable than the cork ones. I like the cork ones and I like the weight of the cork ones, but we're going to start with these. And if for whatever reason, I feel as though this really isn't going the way that I want them to, more than likely I will order some of the cork blanks as well and just try those out and see which ones move a little bit better. But yeah, let's start with this. This actually looks, why am I doing it this way? This actually looks as though it fits pretty, pretty well. Maybe Maybe it could be a little bit bigger. I know y'all can't see anything that I'm talking about because I'm just looking, but we are definitely going to press a couple of these to see how this goes. Just to make sure the sizing on this goes. So I'm going to pick 4 different sizes for the circle ones. 4? Yeah. We're going to start with 4. 3? I don't know. I don't know. So my intention is to sell the coasters as a set. Obviously, for the car coasters, they will be sold as a set of 2. That makes the most sense. Fine. But when it comes to the larger coasters for your desk and all that other kind of thing, what do y'all think makes more sense? A coasters of 2 sound like they're not enough. 3, for some reason, I don't know, the odd number of it, I don't like for coasters. I don't know why. And then 4. I do know that for my magnet sets, my circle magnet sets, I sell them in a set of 3. So I could absolutely just mimic the coasters in that same set of 3 so that you are not getting 3 of the exact same design. You're getting 3 of a different design that are kind of cohesive and go together. Give me 1 second and I'll show you an example of one of my magnet sets so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh my God, move. So for my circle magnet sets, this is an example of what I'm talking about. Here is a set of 3 in a magnet set, and it's those 3 different ones. So I'm thinking about just duplicating this exact same thing, 3 coasters, with these designs and just, keeping it consistent. But are 3 coasters sufficient? For some reason, for coasters, that seems like a weird number. I don't know why. Maybe because the car coasters, it absolutely makes sense that these should be a set of 2. And I don't know why I feel like the actual big coasters should be an even number as well. Am I overthinking this? Of course I am. Of course I am. Here's another one. Y'all have seen these before. Business wise, it makes perfect sense just to carry the designs forward into a different pattern since I already have them together instead of attempting to find a 4th one to add to each one. And there are some of them where I don't have a 4th one to add. Or should they just be 2? Should it just be a set of 2? What do y'all think? You know what? Let me know what you think, but you're not here. So I have to make a decision, right? So as of right now, we're going to go with 3. We're going to go with 3, see how that goes, and we're going to keep it moving. But what we're going to do is that we're going to start with this one. This one does very well. People love this one. Bitch, you doing a good job. Epic shit doer and didn't quit my freaking job today. They do very well. So we're going to make a set of circular coasters, 4x4 in this set. A set of 3. Let's go. So, so let's see how this works. Um, it seems pretty straightforward. Oh, my face looks crazy. Let's back you up some. You're so close to me. Back up. There we go. Sheesh. You're just like right here. That seems like a lot. All right. Ignore what's going on over there. So it seems pretty straightforward. Just making sure I got all the making sure I got all the plastic pieces off on it because that's how ridiculous I am as a person. I hadn't even removed the plastic yet. All right. So that's it. Seems nice and sturdy. So I don't think that the actual coasters came with any instructions. So let's go into my order details. Oh my God. Let's go into my order and see if I can get some instructions for these particular coasters as far as press time and all of that. Or will we have to? Oh, no, here it is. So it says blah, 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 blah. Pressing temperature 356, between 356 and 374. Pressing time 60 to 80 seconds. Okay. Let's look at the reviews and see what people are recommending. I do that a lot. I go into the reviews of, here we go. Supplemented. I sublimated at 385 for 55 seconds and they came out amazing. Thank you, Tamara. In these Amazon reviews, that is what we are going to attempt as well. 385 for 55 seconds. We're going to do that. So let's heat it up for 385. I don't know okay. So all of this makes sense because it's set up pretty much exactly like my HDV Ront tumbler press. These buttons, I don't know what that is. I don't know what these particular buttons are. So I don't know what those know. I don't know what these are. We'll look that up later. So we are going to set it. Okay, let's turn it on. You right. And we're going to set it for 385. I wonder if people covered them. We'll cover them. on the top and the bottom actually. 385 and 55 seconds, which actually is higher than what the actual company says. Okay. But everybody's saying, well, everybody, two different people in the reviews have now mentioned 385. So we are going to go for 385. Yes, we're going to do 385. And maybe we'll split the difference and just do 50 seconds. Since one said 45 and the other one said 55. That's what we'll do. We'll split the difference and just do 50 seconds. So we are set, waiting for this to heat up. And cool. Great. Great, great, great. We will make sure that we used some Teflon so we don't dirty the baby up. But as of right now, we're going to go and print this out.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be away my patient. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky is gray. What would happen if I took a chance?
Ooh, that's hot. That is hot. Okay. Ooh. We are going to cover this up. So, get over here a little bit. There we go. So y'all may have been able to tell from the previous clip that my color for my sublimation printer is all wrong. I'll try to put a comparison. From what I can tell, just based on what these look like in when I print it, there's something wrong with my Scion. So I am going to press these just to make sure, alignment and all that yada yada is working. But I'm going to have to do some maintenance on my sublimation printer. I will say, even if you have your own sublimation printer, like an actual sublimation printer that was manufactured to be a sublimation printer, or if you converted one like I did, there is quite a bit of maintenance that you have to do to ensure that it does not get clogged and all these other kind of things. I'm terrible at that sometimes. You really have to make sure that you are printing things on a very regular basis to keep that all from being clogged. Between me and you, that's how I messed up my first sublimation printer because Girly Pop got into a slight depressive episode and didn't make anything for months on end back in 2021. And by the time I came back, that printer was done. There was no amount of maintenance that I could do to bring that converted sublimation printer back. And I vowed I wouldn't do it with this one. But all the other ones, all the other colors are fine. It's just the blue one. So I am going to work on that after pressing these. So I'm not going to bring y'all along with the maintenance only because, yeah, it's going to be a lot of cussing. It's going to be a lot of cussing, I know. But, I've done this before. No big deal. We'll work on that. But for right now, I did want y'all to see how these came out. Am I putting something on the bottom as well? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Are we doing this? Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. Let's put something on the bottom. Oh, yes, maybe. I just don't want it to bleed through. and mess up the machine on the first try. And we will put something on the top as well and let that press. I did buy a cute little strappy strap top that stays on here. I haven't opened it yet. I think it's over there somewhere. So we'll use that at some later point. But here we go. I will say, y'all might have noticed that I did remember at the very last minute to flip the image because when sublimating, you do need to flip the image, but it gets me. Sometimes I do forget. Anyway, 385 for 50 seconds. Let's rock. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. So I turned it off because it was just beeping at me. I don't know. I don't know what that means. And there's a little bit of smoke coming off of it, which I mean, 385 degrees is not a small amount. So maybe it does that. All right. Give me a moment. We're going to unplug this thing. Make sure my window's open. Oof, oh, I'm hot. Yeah. You chill the hell out for a little bit. I'm going to get the booklet and do a little bit of research. Let's see what happens. See, this is why you don't let things sit for months on end. Huh. Huh. I knew you were going to piss me off. I knew that you were going to be a piece of equipment that pissed me off. I could feel it. 1 second, guys. Hi, 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 guys, hi. Um, I we're back. Um, you may be able to hear my sublimation printer doing its thing in the back while I try to fix that. And I want to deeply apologize for the nonsense that y'all just watched a couple of minutes ago about not being able to make this work. I just watched a 10-second video on YouTube, and I'm an idiot because you have to pull the tray out, and it never dawned on me that you needed to also push the tray in order for it to work. Sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. I guess because it's an auto press. For some reason, even though I had to pull the damn tray out, I just assumed that it was going to auto pull you know where I'm going with this. Cut it out. Like y'all haven't had a slow moment as well. But as you can see, now it's working with no problem. Um, so how have y'all been in the last 5 minutes? Good? Good. Yeah. This is uh this is par for the course, actually. I feel like this is gonna be great. Let's see what this looks like. Smooth. So it doesn't auto come out. Great, great, great. I don't know why I thought it did. I don't know. All right. So we're gonna let those get your face away from that hotness. We're gonna let that cool down for a minute or two, and then we're gonna pull these up and see what this looks like. While I'm waiting on this, I'm going to off camera scream at my sublimation printer, get that going, and we're gonna continue on. All right, here we go. Let's see what these look like. Can you see any of this? Sure you can. Doesn't matter. Nothing. Can you see that? Nothing printed. Son of a bitch. Why is that? Why did you not print? Let's look at all of them. Also, nothing. Also, nothing. So 385 at 50 degrees does not work. Um, it didn't take any of this ink. Sorry guys, that was a lot. It didn't take any of this ink. Um, let's see. Let's think about this. Is it because I covered it? Should it not be covered? Ah. Also, one thing that I now see is that these also, it doesn't like this tape either. Ah, son of a bitch. So the tape also causes issues. So no tape. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the tape leaves a residue. All right. So number one, let's make sure no, there isn't any kind of film or anything on it. You should just be able to straight press it. There's literally nothing on there. Great. Um, let's make sure they're actually sublimation coasters because that could be possible. Let me look at something. All right. Let's look up this particular coaster. Yes, they're sublimation blanks, 4x4, blah, blah, blah. All right. So let's look at the now. I did say that I go by the reviews, and maybe I shouldn't have, because the company instructions do say 356 to 374 pressing for 60 to 80 seconds, and I only did it for 50 seconds. So we are going to, first of all, write down this 385, 50 seconds, and so to remind myself that that shit didn't work. So we are now going to do 375 for 80 seconds. That is the top range of what the actual company instructions say. Can I reuse these? I don't know. There, you probably can't tell. There's the tiniest little bit. That is so close. There's the tiniest little bit of ink, but not really. All right, we're going to do that. I am going to write some more, and we're going to try this again at 375, 80 seconds. And people are only pressing once, so that's what we're going to do. I'll be back once we get that pressed. Guys, I've been sublimating for years. Years. I think I mentioned earlier that I'm on my second sublimation printer. I also own two heat presses, three, if you want to count my tumbler heat press. You would think that I wouldn't forget how to sublimate things. I literally did a whole apparel line at Christmas where all I did was spend day after day sublimating sweatshirts. You would think that it wouldn't take me almost an hour to flip the stupid thing over so that the sublimation is on top, so that the pressure's correct. I know you all have had one of those days where you're so irritated with yourself, you don't even know what to do. Not even looked at these, and I already know that though they won't be perfect, they actually sublimated. I know they did. I know they did. There's still work that I need to do maintenance on the sublimation printer, but I'm going to look at these and I'm going to laugh at myself. I'm probably going to go and find myself a sweet treat. Also, maybe some French fries because my God, am I irritated with myself this afternoon. But we're going to take a quick look at these just so y'all can get an understanding of what it is I was actually trying to do here. All of y'all were probably screaming at me through this screen. But we got there. Let's take a look. And then I'm going to take a little break before I start flipping tables. Just an irritation. Let's take a little look see, and then we'll come back and do some more things. I will say that these are only three that I messed up. Well, six, and I decided I wasn't going to attempt to sublimate any untouched coasters. We were just going to keep reusing these until we made something happen. So I did reuse some other ones, and I did use tape because how else would I do this? Um, Maybe and look at that, because I turned it over, the tape residue is not even there anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, I can already tell that this actually works. I have sublimated hundreds of things in my lifetime. I am not new to this. And of course, yeah, there we go. Of course. So there's that. It's probably not being picked up on the camera very well, but I definitely would probably work with the color a little bit. Um, the green is a little bit more neon than I would like it to be. And, the placement, especially on this side, is not exactly how I want it to be. But I wasn't trying to be too exact on this round. I angrily threw this together, so I knew it wasn't going to be great. But no, that actually sublimated very nicely, actually, very nicely. Which all the reviews were saying. All the reviews were saying that they sublimate so well. I sublimated at 380 for 80 degrees. And I can actually tell if you are a person who sublimates that I probably should bring either the time and the temperature or both down because the paper is a tad bit burny, a tad bit burnt. So I could probably bring this down a little bit. Anyway, so that's that one. Kilt with no tape residue on the back. And here's this one. Nice. I did get the blue ink to print a little bit better. Again, the placement isn't, stop it. The placement isn't great, and I would probably want to work on the saturation a little bit for this. Come on, where you at? The saturation on this, but again, count. And this one, which again, the saturation and work on the blue ink some. And for this, I might want to change this up a little bit and maybe outline the letters a little bit so that they pop a little bit more. But working on the saturation of that blue background is probably the best for this one. So this is what we have. They sublimated actually pretty freaking well. I'm so irritated with myself. I really am. I really am. I thought this was going to be a lot quicker than this because it's just sublimating neoprene. That's all it is. It was just going to be a quick print job, a quick press job, and we were going to giggle over how cute they were. And now I have been at this for over 2 hours. This legit, all of this should have taken me, no exaggeration, 30 minutes. From template to printing to pressing. And that's me dilly dallying around my studio. 30 minutes is all the 20 minutes, to be quite honest, should have taken me any time at all to get this pressed down. But that is what trial and error and all of that encompasses. I'm trying to decide if I can continue. The answer is no. I know myself. I got to take a break. If I continue and even one little thing annoys me, I I will flip this unscrewed table because, of course, I still haven't screwed this tabletop down. So let's take a little breaky poo. And all of this might be a nice little evening studio vlog session. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a break, and I'll see you sometime this evening. Great. Great, great, great. Hey, y'all, hey. So it is a couple of days later because, of course, I did not come back that evening. I was just completely I was just completely done with that particular day of trying new things out. But I did come into the studio for a second day that I did not film to do some adjustments to the printer, to the alignment of the coasters, just all the other little bits and pieces. And I decided that I did not like them. There was just no adjustment that I made that day that made me like those particular coasters. And it really does come down to I don't think I like the rubber back coasters. These. I just don't think I like them. I don't. They actually sublimated okay. This was the first batch. I have a second batch that actually sublimated even better, but I just don't think I like them. There's something about the almost the flimsiness of them, which I'm sure is a big pro for a lot of people, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just really into just more old school coasters. So I made a little bit of an impulse buy and bought some cork blanks and tried those out and have been using those for a couple of days, and I like them so much better. Here are the cork ones. Even the sublimation on the cork coasters I like a lot better. The rubberback ones tend to look a little bit more matte. This is the rubberback one, and it's probably not coming across very well on camera. But yeah, I just like these cork ones a lot better. Is it a little bit more expensive? Of course it is. Is it a little bit more work? Mainly because the cork ones come with this plastic liner that is hell to take off. Yes, it is a little bit more work, but I do like it a lot more. So much so that I went ahead and pulled the trigger and bought the cork back ones for the car coasters as well. And those almost no notes. Let's see here. I'll put a little video somewhere of the car coasters that I did, but here are a few of them. What's happening here? Why can I get it in frame? There we go. Here's a few of those. They're just so cute. They're just so cute. I love them. I love how sturdy they feel. I love how easy it was to actually sublimate. They just look really, really, really good. So I think my plan, not I think, I know my plan is going to go forward with the coasters using the actual cork back blanks. That's what we're doing here. The only thing that I'm still absolutely having trouble with is with the full size coasters. And I just have no idea how to package these. And if I'm going to package them in sets of twos, like the car coasters are, or if I'm going to do a set of three, because I already have a set of three set up as magnets and they do well. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how that is going to be done quite yet. But that's not a I'm just not sure. We're not quite sure how that's going to be. With the car coasters, they are going to be a pack of two, of course, and I'm going to mix and match them. I am going to let people just choose which two they want online, obviously. And in the retail space, I'm going to have a couple that are two of the same design and then a couple that are mix and match for their different designs because I know people's preferences can be either or. So I'm just going to put both of those options out there. So that is where we are with the coasters. In true Sharita fashion, I have decided that my mini summer launch is going to be July 1st, which is not too far away from now. And I do want these coasters to be fully solidified and part of the mini summer launch. So if any of y'all have any suggestions on what is probably the best way to package and put out these actual coasters, is it a pack of two? Does this pack of three seem weird? I don't know. I'm not sure. Drop your suggestions in the comments and let me know what you think I should do with the full size coasters. And if you want to be reminded about the collection, just click the link in the description or whatever that's called to join the newsletter, and I'll definitely give reminders about when that launch is actually up and available to shop. So that's where we are, guys. A couple of days, a day of trial and error that ended up being a couple of days because that's just how running your own small business does. I don't know why I thought that I was going to be able to press these perfectly and come to a solid, perfect decision all in one work day. It did not work out that way. Am I still completely happy with any of what I created? Of course I'm not. There's going to have to be some tweaking done to some of the sizing of the design. There's still some color issues that I personally am not a big fan of. It's probably not being picked up here, but this green is a little neon that I don't really like. But there are just some things that I need to tweak so that I'm fully satisfied with them. But that is what trial and error is supposed to accomplish. It is definitely supposed to let you know what you like, what you don't like, and be able to make those adjustments so that you are satisfied with what you are creating for your community. Anyway, I didn't mean to ramble on so long. I just wanted to come back and let y'all know where we were and how we ended. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. This is just the packaging that the car coasters came with. Of course, I'm going to have my own branded packaging, but this is so cute. I do realize I put them in upside down. I'll fix that. But I think this is going to be so cute. It'll be two different ones or two of the same, and I think this will be very. I think this will be very popular in the summer, especially the bright, pretty colors that are being used and all that. I think this will end up being a very popular item, especially in the retail space and with my pop-up shop. I think people are really going to like these. Anywho, I think that is going to be it for this particular video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out with me over the last couple of days while we try to get some of this straight. Um, are we calling this a fail? No, of course we're not calling this a fail. It's fucking cute as shit. Not a fail. Using the rubber back ones and wasting the money, teeny bit of a fail. But I think I did redeem myself with going to the cork ones and just continuing on. I think we did redeem. So fail, no. Complete success yet? Not yet, but we're getting there. We are getting to a complete success, and hopefully that will be something that I will be able to very explicitly exclaim by the time July 1st comes around. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for rocking with me. I'll see you around the internet somewhere. Bye.